Okay,
All
good.
right. So what are you going to talk about, Ken?
Well, we're going to take a few minutes here. We got plenty of time left on the show, so we're not crying here. We're going to talk about plug repairs.
Okay.
It seems to be a very common repair that a lot of guys ask about. It should be said, and we are going to cover it in a later show, how to actually use our repair template, which if you could grab that right down there, John, we'll give them an idea real quick. This right here is really the single tool that I really recommend. With this tool you can do a plug repair, you can do dog legs, you can do pie inserts, small triangular. I mean, you can repair virtually anything with this. A plug repair is typically used to repair an area where you've had severe impact damage, perhaps some chemical staining. I remember one job we did, some people had got a commercial grade of acetone on top and it dissolved the acrylic.
Right.
And there, when you're looking to repair a small spot, a plug is great and simple. So the first thing, John's going to show you with the drill press how
we
to
didn't we didn't actually set this up for depth or anything yet either on break. So what we're going to do is this is a plug repair set. This is the piece that cuts the plug actually, and this can be used in a drill press or it can be used in your router. I prefer to use it in a drill press, and I say I prefer. Most of you people out there know that I'm not a solid surface fabricator. I don't claim to be one, but when I do use tools, I would use them in the easiest thing that there is. All right, we need a block of wood underneath this, Ken.
Let me grab you one real quick.
All right. The other item we're going to talk about is the
Where did it go?
plug that cuts the hole in the countertop. And this is a conical shaped, I believe it's 15 degree. So what happens is this cuts the male plug, this cuts the female hole in the countertop. They match together perfectly so you can take care of a dimple or small crack or whatever. All right, this will work. It's a little overkill, but we're in good shape. Okay, let me just adjust this for depth real quick here. Okay. This is self-centering. You want to lower this table a little bit for me,
Sure.
please?
Does it go down that low?
All right, that's great. All right, now we're cutting this from the back side of the solid surface, not the front side. All right, it's as simple as that. We're just going to take our key and pop this out of here. And we've got a nice little plug, perfectly shaped, and it will match the hole that we're going to drill in the countertop.
Okay,
All right, Ken, you want to? No, I'm going to let you go ahead and set up the fixture for the countertop since you were supposed to be doing that already.
Okay. And what we're going to do is, most repairs of countertops take place roughly in the middle. So we'll take our same board and we will turn it over on edge. And we'll use the same rough area and we'll say that's the middle of our countertop. What we're going to use is a Festool plunge router. The great thing about this tool is it allows us, let me get this turned just a little bit more. It allows us to use dust collection, which in most cases, when you cut in somebody's house, you really take note, you just make a huge mess of their home. And the great thing about this too is this comes with these two metal extension rods, which will actually allow us to apply even clamping pressure from the edge. This will allow you, if you had to secure this router in the middle of a countertop, you could actually take, much like we're doing, and put a board right across there. We have these Bessie clamps. We can take and put the clamp right in the middle, hold it tight on the bottom, and bang, we've got that pressure there. And typically that would hold everything down nice and tight. In this case, though, since we do not have the other side of the counter, we'll go ahead and put it on this side. And now our router is solid. It can't move. I want to make sure we're not going to be, let me actually take and move this over just a little bit so we can get away from that other hole.
Why don't you put that upside down so the camera can get your shot in there. Put the ratchet on the bottom. There you go. You know that,
Oh, there we go.
yeah, this bar is going to be right in the way, but they'll be able to see that the dust collection. Okay. All right, you're hot.
Okay, great. Okay, now we've already preset this for the depth, and what that'll do is that's going to elongate our hole so it will match our plug that we've just made. We set it up prior to. You would want to take multiple cuts to make sure you did not overcut your depth. So we'll take and turn our tool on.
Oh,
Is that
I'm
on
sorry.
auto?
No, I'm sorry.
We are without power. Okay.
Go ahead.
Once again, when we turn this on, the vacuum will go on also. And then we'll plunge right down into our cut. Now you'll notice virtually no dust is created.
Yeah, when you're doing a repair in somebody's home, that's critical.
Yeah, no mess at all. I mean, we're both standing here, not an ounce of dust on me or you.
Right.
You can't beat that. So we'll disconnect our parts now. Now what we use to keep the spacing underneath our bars so we were able to put the clamp between the two and hold it are some synthetic shims. A lot of guys use wood shims. We sell both pine, cedar, and the synthetic shims here at Specialty Tools. I am really a huge fan of the synthetic shims. We have a question. Is it proper to use a drill press to cut a plug, a solid surface? Isn't the rotation too slow? Actually, no. We haven't had a problem with it at all. Most drill presses have multiple speeds, so you can actually, by changing the belts, you can increase the speed without any trouble at all. You have to be careful in some cases because you don't want to get so hot that you're putting burn in, especially if you're working with an acrylic.
You know, I had, excuse me a minute, Ken, I have some
And as you can see,
some glue for you.
it's right in my pocket.
Oh, you got the? Okay.
That's right, I have it right here.
All right,
but
never mind.
As you can see, there's our plug right now. And it's still, we held it just a little bit proud, so we could take our Rotex grinder right to it and take it right down. Once again, you can see where it's at. Right there. And what we're going to do, just to show you how well this really works, is we're just going to glue it in with some super glue.
Now, would you use super glue in the field, or would you actually use adhesive?
Why tempt fate? The great thing about joint adhesive is it's colored to match, and you're not going to end up with a slight ring.
Okay. So by using something like this, you could actually end up with a slight ring.
You could. There's that possibility.
Okay.
There we go. But we're going to go ahead. We'll put this in there.
And don't glue that to your fingers.
Well, why not? Okay. Okay, I'll press and hold this down for a few seconds.
Is that all it takes? You don't need anything else?
Sometimes it's nice if you have the accelerator.
Okay.
We didn't bring the accelerator with us tonight, so this will take us just a few seconds longer. Have you got the vacuum all set up on the Rotex?
No, I don't, Ken. But I will in just a second. There you go. We've got the vacuum, and I believe you're all plugged in. Yes, you are. I've got a 120 grit paper on there, which you probably should use something a little bit coarser, but that'll work.
All right, that'll do the job.
And we're using Festool paper today for the Rotex.
That 220 pad right there? Could I see that one?
Sure. You want to cut it down with that?
No. What I'm going to go ahead and use this 220 to get the excess glue off.
Okay.
There
all
we
right.
go. See? That's why they're bad.
All right. Super.
Okay. So now we've got our plug. We've got this set on grind. No. There we go.
Should you have used something a little coarser to start?
Not really.
Okay. Now I can see a little bit of a ring there.
You can, and that's where our glue is going to hurt us a little bit, our super glue.
Okay. Well, but this is, you know,
but what we've
reality.
got there is we've got a very, as you can see, we did the repair front to back in 7 minutes.
Right.
Which is extremely fast. There's a little hint of white. Now that can be caused from a couple different things. A lot of times what we used to do in our shop is we would take and we would clean up the edge of anything that we cut like that with a maroon Scotch-Brite and acetone. Because a lot of times when you cut, especially acrylics, not so much polyesters or the hybrids, but the acrylics tend to bruise and they can damage from the heat slightly. By using the acetone, that dissolves that damaged surface area slightly.
Okay.
It removes a lot of the whitish mark, and then you're all set. You've got something that turns out really well. In this case, once again, probably if we had used the gray joint adhesive instead of just using the
right. Okay.
That would have shadowed that area.
All right.
And it probably would have concealed it. But these came from two separate pieces of material, and still that repair would be fairly inconspicuous. Maybe not perfect, but fairly inconspicuous.
Right. Now let me ask you something. If you were going to do a repair like this, say in the middle of an island top or something, there's no way that these bars are going to be long enough. Would you suggest possibly hot gluing this to the countertop, or what would, because you need to hold it firm, correct?
Correct.
So what would you do?
I've actually thought a little bit about what you said. John came up with an ingenious idea just a short while ago, and I may have to tell you about it in a moment right after our commercial break, which I hate to do, but just hang with us. And the man who comes up with all the inventions, I'll tell you a real simple one he came up with a minute ago combined with another idea, and I think it answers a problem.
Okay.
So I guess we're ready for commercial. All right, great. Once again, you can see how our repair came out. It's not absolutely dead perfect, but you know where it's at, I know where it's at. Most homeowners would never find that. And we did this once again in what, 7 minutes?
Yeah.
Total front to back? That's not bad. So that's a quick repair. Somebody had asked the question, how would you stretch that over a greater distance?
I asked that.
Well, but you're somebody. See? and John had actually come up with a great idea earlier. We were trying to figure out how we could get these rods and get them to work. These come standard with a festool, and it's just a great platform to work from. And we had tried different ways of fastening them down, and then we came up with using the synthetic shims, which are dead perfect for going in underneath this, and then by just taking this across the top and applying a clamp, it freezes it down.
Right.
So it's nice and solid. It prevents, it takes a lot of the roll out of the router.
All right.
Now, if you had to do a large area, let's say you were in the middle of a peninsula top like this, you could really just get longer rods that you could probably buy at a home center or hardware store.
I was looking at that. I think so. You're probably talking about maybe a 3/8 diameter rod, and these are ground flat on one side, but you wouldn't have to do that for that application. You could just slide it through and put one at each end of the island top.
And by once again using the synthetic shims underneath it, and then at either end of this, even if it were over a span of 36, 42 inches, wouldn't matter, and placing the block across the top gives you the flat surface to clamp to.
Right.
And of course you can take, now these clamps are made by Bessie, and they are...
Those really crank. They're not great for solid surface.
I forget how many pounds of pressure they create.
It was some monstrous amount.
It was astronomical, but I'll tell you, that'll pin this thing down and it won't budge.
Right.
And we do have these, but you could take and pin it from either side. The router slides on these rails. You can get it to whatever point you want. And then, of course, using the Festool Vac, we saw you get a completely dust-free,
right,
a dust-free cut. Which
absolutely, no, it's a great idea. I think that'll work well.
Amazing. So this gives you a lot of versatility. A great tool, a great way to accomplish a simple plug repair. Once again, I've never been a huge fan of plug repairs. They're very limited in their application. But as you can see, and I'm not even sure where the repair is anymore on that plate.
Well, now let me interrupt you a second. A plug repair would be good for like a speck in the top, or let's say someone were doing some work around it, dropped a tool on it, and put a puncture, not a puncture, but a nick in the countertop. That's where this would come in.
Correct.
You can also do a series of holes with the larger plug set to replace a line that's cracked. And these are available in two sizes, 25 millimeter and 45 millimeter. 45 millimeter is great for sinkholes. And we also carry one by Velopec that's even larger. I believe it's 1.5 inches in diameter, but I would have to check to see.
Now, once again, I would suggest if you are doing a line longer than what the plug is able to consume in one pass, let me balance that up right there for a minute. I would strongly recommend using a tool like this, because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to have to cut a plug, let it set,
right.
cut a plug, let
well,
it set.
Well, a template like that, but that would be used with our 10-degree repair kit.
That is correct.
But that's another whole segment.
But it's one cut.
Right.
It's one cut, so this is going to save you a substantial amount of time in that sort of repair arena. You're right. If I were replacing, if I had, and manufacturers sometimes will produce some material and there'll be a flaw in it, maybe an oversized piece of particle or something that happened
right.
in the mixing process that went wrong. You've got to repair one small spot. As you can see by looking at that, the repair is virtually impossible to see. You can repair it really in just moments and certainly charge the manufacturer a substantial amount of money.
One thing I'd like to go over before we close is, for those of you that are tuning in, we have a special every week just for those that do tune in, and I'm not sure what this week's number is. What's the date of next week's show?
14th.
14th. So the coupon number is going to be 111306. That's 111306. And that coupon, if you use to check out on our website, will allow you a 10% discount on any of the tools that we've shown tonight, except for Festool tools, of course. We never discount those. But any of the other tools on the website, you can get a 10% discount. And I believe we also sent out an email to first-time users of the website that gave them an additional $10 discount on the website just for trying it. So there's two specials you can take advantage of. But remember, they're website-only specials.
I have a child in college.
Well, hey, you can order as much stuff as you want and save as much as you want.
No, people aren't supposed to take all those discounts. How can I send my son through school?
Well, what can I say?
Gregory, I'm sorry, you don't get to go back after Christmas break.
That's right. And I need to say hello to everybody at Nimnik Pontiac. They're watching tonight, and I promised that I would say hello. So, hello, Nimnik Pontiac.
My boy can't go to school and you get a new car.
I didn't say I got a new car, but actually they sold me a new Solstice Turbo, so I was real happy to see that. So anyway, don't want to get into that, but just wanted to say hello to all the fine people down at Nimnik. And I think that's about it for tonight. You've got to tune in next week for sure to see our scientific study on hot melt guns.
And once again, no animals were hurt in the filming of that commercial.
That's right. So until next week, thank you much for joining us, and we'll see you again.
Bye.